So this is a topic that someone asked me about, and I think now that Saturn is sort of newly in the sign of Aquarius since last month, we have a new group of people. Everyone with Saturn and Aquarius in their natal chart is thinking about the Saturn return since it's something that they'll experience over the next 2 to 3 years. So I just thought I'd take this opportunity to just explain everything I know about the Saturn return. What is it? How can we best deal with it and cope with it? And is it something bad? Is it something we should be afraid of? So the Saturn return happens when Saturn goes all the way around the zodiacal chart and comes back to where it was when you were born. So in other words, it's what happens when the transiting Saturn conjoins someone's natal Saturn. And although the most common one talked about is the one that happens in your late 20s, age 27 to 31 or so, you'll experience it every 28, 29 years, something like that. So you'll experience it again ages 56 through 60 and ages 85 through 89 or thereabouts. And some people round that to age 30, age 60, age 90. And because Saturn is one of the more slow moving planets, it's not something that you'll experience on one date or even 1 month. It's something that you experience over the course of 2 to 3 years, sometimes longer depending on your chart. And everyone experiences it a little bit differently. I always look to people's charts, and if you have other natal planets around your natal Saturn, transiting Saturn will conjoin over those before or after your Saturn return, and so it'll make your Saturn return experience feel longer and maybe therefore more challenging. But with other people, if your Saturn is alone, then it will be a relatively brief experience. But again, it'll be about 2 to 3 years. And what happens is, again, like I said, it's different for everyone, but the common theme is that these are some of our more challenging years. And these are times where we are sort of forced to grow up a lot and mature. And a lot of astrologers say that you're not truly an adult till you have your first Saturn return experience for this very reason. It's something that you have to experience alone, something that you have to be responsible for. And so it's not negative necessarily because, it says a lot about the nature of Saturn as a planet, because Saturn isn't necessarily a bad planet. It helps us grow and it helps us mature and helps us be stronger people. But doing all that and going through that process isn't the most fun experience at all. It's something that can be difficult, can be tedious, it could even be depressing, or because it's forcing you to be something bigger than what you already are or what you were before the experience. And again, it totally depends on your own personal experience and your natal chart. If you're goofing off a lot in your 20s, people might be, I don't know, really like promiscuous or reckless or drinking too much or doing drugs or something like that. Or maybe not taking anything seriously, not really committing oneself to anything. The more you're, just kind of floating around, not really committing to anything in your 20s, the harder the Saturn return experience will be, generally speaking. And again, it depends on your own chart. You can look to where your natal Saturn placement is to see what yours will be about. And although I haven't experienced a Saturn return yet, I'm about to. I think I can feel it now since I'm 27 years old now. But I've talked to a lot of people who are older than 30 and just asked them about their experience. Some people don't even notice it, and they say they didn't even really notice anything that happened when they were 27, 28, 29, 30. I would say that most people, though, probably more than half, will say that it's a hard time. It's just time where you have to grow up, and again, it totally depends on your natal placements, your natal planets. And I think that pretty much sums it up. And this isn't something unique. This is something that every time any planet does one full circle through the zodiacal chart, and it conjoins that planet's natal position in your chart, you experience like a very strong, sometimes profound, energetic impulse of that planet. And it's because it's completing a cycle. And so we experience that with our solar returns, like on or around our birthdays, where the sun does one full cycle and the transiting sun conjoins our natal sun. Those are very impactful. But The same happens for Mercury, for Venus, for Jupiter, Mars, and any planet. I mean, we don't live long enough to have Neptune or Pluto returns, but you also have a Uranus return. The Saturn one, I think, just has more of a reputation just because it's one of the more difficult ones. And again, it's sort of like a rite of passage. It's something that you have to go through. You go through alone, and it makes you a stronger, more responsible character. It makes you into an adult. Makes you able to see the big picture, the long term, and it makes you more committed to whatever you're doing, whether that's raising a family or your job or just whatever your ethics are, whatever is important to you. It sort of sets your priorities, I guess. And again, this is something we experience 2, maybe 3 times in our lifetime. Yeah. So should we be scared? I mean, if you're if you're just really dicking around, being reckless, and not taking anything seriously, then yeah, you probably should be scared. I mean, or rather than being scared, you should just get your act together. That's kind of the whole point of it. Yeah, so I mean, really, yes, it is challenging, mundane, tedious, hard, but it makes us better people, and so it's really necessary. And so, if you can see the positive in it, it makes it a lot easier. So I hope that helps. I hope that's informative. That's pretty much just the basics of Saturn Return. And as always, if you have any suggestions at all, anything you want me to cover, just let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching.